Hey Turbo, I thought I'd just throw some of my commentary into a quick video so you and Talic could get a little bit of my feedback and some of the backstory as to where this Symphony of the Night legendary 55-minute run came from. As I mentioned to you, this was a run that I really hoped would just kind of die off and fade into non-existence because, you know, it's 13 years later now, and it's rather impressive how ignorant I was about the game in many aspects. But I also think it's really fun to have this reason to talk about speedrunning and to network with more people in the community. So I'm thrilled that my run got to be featured in one of your discussions, and I think it's cool what you're doing with the Long Library Discord channel. I think it's sweet. So with all that being said, here's some of the backstory. Now, I have an email exchange with Radix, who's the founder of SDA, from back in March of 2005, and that explains a few things, and so I'll kind of go into that first. When I made this run, it was inspired by some other runs that I'd stumbled across on archive.org, along with what I was seeing on the Metroid 2002 website. And at the time, I couldn't find any Symphony of the Night runs on archive.org, so I thought I'd get the ball rolling by putting the first one out there, even if it wasn't of the best quality in so many ways, as you and Talic were able to point out. So I created this run without any coordination whatsoever with the speedrunning community because, I mean, quite frankly, I didn't know that a speedrunning community existed. After I put together the run and I put it on archive.org, like I just, you know, I self-published it, I just dumped it on there, Radix reached out to me, he just emailed me, and he pointed out a lot of things. First of all, he saw that I'd published the run, but he couldn't actually watch it because I used the wrong codec when I encoded it. I used like 3IVX instead of DivX. 3VX? I don't even know how you pronounce that. But when I was using Virtual Dub, like, admittedly, I just had no clue what I was doing. When I recorded and encoded it, everything was totally self-taught, and that's, you know, I was using mediocre equipment, and that's what makes the run, the quality of the actual recording is just so abysmal and makes it like absolutely nauseating to watch. And luckily I still had the original recording, which isn't saying much because that was kind of garbage to begin with, but I was able to follow his instructions and his guidance to re-encode it using the right encoder. And so what you see on the archive.org website is that re-encoded run. And then his follow-up question was, he was asking if I had submitted it to SDA, and that, you know, the site that he founded, and my email exchange sort of reveals that I had no clue that SDA and archive.org were actually two separate things. Like, that's how ignorant I was. So it was only actually after I submitted this run that I even had a conversation with other human beings about speedrunning. After that, you know, I kind of got talking to people on the SDA forums and stuff like that, and then, you know, the rest is history. I didn't really do any speedrunning after that because I realized how big this community was, and I knew that any effort that I put into speedrunning, because I'm very casual when it comes to gaming, I knew that any effort that I put into speedrunning was going to just be stamped out of existence by somebody else who's far more skilled and had way more patience and determination than I did. So with all that aside, I'll talk about some of the stuff that we encountered in the run. Now, I mean, we could talk all day on all of the things that were going on in this run, and that might be a fun conversation to have at a separate time, but I just wanted to chip through some of the things real quick. The first thing that I wanted to point out is that in general, like a lot of times when I kill enemies that I don't need to kill, or I break candles or something, that's a completionist compulsion. Grabbing max life ups and max heart ups and stuff, like after boss battles you grab a max life up. I hadn't even considered the possibility of skipping them. In the times when I did skip them, I thought I was being like super cool. Like,
oh yeah, I don't even need that power up.
And contrast that to like today's speedruns, and it's like, why is he picking up like everything? Okay, the next thing is with Richter, his other moves. I didn't even know that Richter had other moves. So I didn't study enough to know that the Holy Water did considerably more damage to Dracula. It was another Castlevania game, and I'm like, well, the cross, duh, because like the cross is like the best in every other Castlevania game, so it was a presumption that I made. Let's see, next, Doppelganger. Yep, didn't even know the watch worked on the Doppelganger. I actually had, in my commentary, I included that I could use some tips on how to better fight Doppelganger, because I had no idea that you could use the watch, and I almost died to him in the run. Yeah, most of the killing, it was to gain levels. You know, there were a lot of runs that I lost to dying just because my skill level wasn't there, and so a lot of it was just to get better stats and have more reliability in the runs. In the long library, no, I wasn't trying to force a rapier drop. I didn't know that the rapier had any sort of benefit. That was just me, you know, needlessly killing enemies. The Alucard equipment, yes. You were exactly right about the luck boost for the Crusaegrim, and although, as you noticed, I forgot to equip the pieces when I went to farm the Crusaegrim, but it wasn't the grabbing the Alucard equipment wasn't actually even a time loss, because I still had to wait for the statue in the clock tower anyway, the one that's timed every other minute to move. And so it wasn't even a time loss, but it's still really embarrassing. Next, the shield rod. You guys are absolutely right. I had no idea that the shield rod was amazing. That was, you know, just came with my ignorance of the technical aspects of the game. Wing smashes, chaining wing smashes. Yeah, I didn't know you could chain them in the same morph. I thought, like, you know, you get to the end of your wing smash, you morph back into Alucard, morph back into a bat, you do another wing smash. I thought that was how you had to do it. I hadn't even tried chaining them together. I'm not sure how much benefit that would have given me, because as you can see in the run, I struggle with wing smashes a lot. Like, for some reason, it's really hard for me to do. Okay, the blind spike room. So this was, yeah, you guys kind of pointed out, this was the really one and only kind of sequence break in the run. All things considered, I don't think it is really that much of a massive time save. But it was still kind of the pride of my run, because it was a demonstration of something, you know, it was the one demonstration of the run that, like, you know, clearly he had to have practiced this, you know, he had to, like, really put some work into figuring this out. Figuring that out was really the only reason that I thought that, the run was, you know, worth submitting to the internet scrutiny. As far as the strategy, you were right. I did use the wing flaps. I counted the wing flaps. And use that to be able to judge my distance as to how far I've been flying. Bat kick, yep, didn't know that was a thing. Shields, yeah, you guys talked about shields a little bit, and how, you know, I skipped the night shield and stuff. I really only bothered with shields for blocking projectiles. I think I switched to the Herald shield just because I was already in the menu, and it was there, so I just did it. Yeah, not really, I wasn't an expert at, you know, efficient use of time. The next thing, Talic pointed out, and I didn't even know this until I heard Talic say it, that when you hit the shaft orb during the Richter fight, that it's based on the number of times you hit the orb. It's not based on a hit point amount. I didn't even know that until 2 days ago or whatever. Yeah. Diagonal gravity boot jumps. I didn't know you could do that. There were a lot of times that I wasn't doing wing smashes or gravity boots or chaining gravity boots. And a lot of the time it was because I was low. I was low on mana. Speaking of mana, using save points for mana. Yeah, you guys talked about the save points and how I skip save points. It was, yeah, sort of like an irrational self-imposed limit. You know, it was a single segment run, but I didn't, you know, I wasn't in the community yet, so I didn't have any established rules to go by as to whether or not leveraging the save points at all was kind of allowed, and so I erred on the side of caution for the sake of that integrity, I suppose. Yeah, the Crusaegrim, and the fact that it happened on, like, the first kill when I got to my farm spot after still not equipping the Alucard equipment. It was disbelief. I was like, dude, that just happened. I'm so used to going in and out of the screen at least a couple dozen times before, you know, I even have a shred of a chance of seeing it. And the fact that it happened so quick, that was sort of the other selling point for the run, that, like, you know, it didn't have this dead time of, you know, 6 or 7 minutes where I'm just, like, going in and out of the screen and killing the same enemy over and over. So I thought that would add to the entertainment value a little bit, where it wasn't this dead time. So between that and the blind spike room strat, that was why I really thought it was worth, you know, putting out there. Otherwise, it was really just intended to be a casual run. Saving lag frames. Yeah, I was not concerned about saving fractions of a second off my run. I was nowhere near that refined in my speed running. I can't say with absolute certainty, but I might have been checking the time in the clock tower when I went into the pause menu. That might have been what I was doing. Maybe not, I don't know. And then on Dracula, I just didn't have the technical knowledge to know that the Bible could actually lower my damage output if I was using that while attacking with the Crusade Grim at the same time. Anyway, the game has come a long way, and you know, you guys, along with many other people in the speedrunning community, have been there every step of the way to make the run more efficient and much more entertaining to watch as time has gone on. And so, you know, I commend your efforts. Keep up the good work. I love the Discord channel. I hope to spend some time hanging out there, and hope to talk to you guys more. Take care.